listen. I've been with my boyfriend for a year and he's decided that he wants to explore an open relationship and look for a regular third person to join the bedroom. I'm not interested in this, but my boyfriend is really keen. Should I say yes to make him happy?
All right, let's do this. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in and clicking on this video. It's the latest on trend with your girl Biami.
Big up yourself.
Firstly, why does Adefalake's face look like that? She looks so disappointed. Okay, we're gonna just quickly have a look at some of the facial expressions because I could not. Like, it really gave me jokes. Okay, let's quickly look at Jay Edward's face, as in... This is so jokes. Okay, let's quickly look at the boys. The boys are like, okay, Jay Edward looks like, okay. Gade is like, let's do this. What? I'm ready. And NK just kind of looks like, okay, I'm gonna kind of act calm and cool, like, do you know what I mean? This is a spicy question. Just a disclaimer before I get into my review, guys, ignore any background noises that you hear. I need to get this video out, and if I don't do it this way, then you ain't gonna get a video. So you know how it goes if you're a parent, if you're a working parent. Okay, cool. So the question is spicy, is freaky, is freaky dicky licky. Two things that stood out to me, and I think it stood out to the panel eventually, is number one, open relationship was thrown in there, and number two, a regular was thrown in there, which changes gears a little bit. You know, if it was just like a 1-2 there and then, spicing up the relationship, then okay, cool, we will be having a different conversation. But since we're talking about openness, since we're talking about regular, and also they were right, it really did sound one-sided. Let me just start by how I always start, who stood out to me. I think everybody kind of stood out to me in this episode. I was actually really quite surprised. I enjoyed the conversation. It was held together and everybody kind of listened to one another's opinion. They really thought and processed the question. And I think this was a really good panel for this discussion. I particularly really loved the way Jesse handled the conversation. I mean, he was host Jesse for the episode. Like, he really tried to bring it all together, which I really appreciated, because it really made us to see where everybody stood with everything, with the question, like, where do you stand? Don't beat around the bush, just tell the people where you stand. And I really appreciated that. You really could see his maturity, and I think I like this Jesse more than the fox wearing Jesse. Like, I don't know what he was wearing the other time. It was a fox. I didn't get to see much of him, but this time round I got to see a different side of Jesse, and I really appreciated it. Okay, cool. Let me just put it out there. Like, I'm not with this whole bringing another person into the relationship. I, for one, feel like a year is not that long in a relationship. And if you are already thinking about bringing somebody in, it's either you've had this in the back of your mind, or this is something that you've always been intrigued, or this is something that you've always been curious about, intrigued about, always wanted to try. Either you've not met somebody who's agreed to doing that, or who would enjoy doing that with you, or you're just kind of like, you know, trying to test the waters. But to me, the way that he's bringing in this question, the way that he's bringing in this suggestion, states that this is something that he's into or he wants to explore. Secondly, the fact that he's also saying a regular, to me, that's very alarming, because it's like, why do we need a regular? I think this is somebody who sounds polygamous to me. If they didn't have this conversation prior to the relationship, like, hey, what kind of things are you into? Like, what's the freakiest that you've ever been? Like, what's the freakiest thing that you've ever done? You know, we have these casual conversations. So I would be surprised if they hadn't had that type of conversation. Like, you know, have you ever had a threesome before? Like, how freaky would you get? Like, what's off the tables? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, this is just casual conversations, which a lot of people would be more than happy to have. So to me, it's almost like this shouldn't really be a shock, because I mean, I kind of ask these questions, I'm like, I need to know. I don't want to be surprised. Do you get what I mean? I feel like it's very alarming to the relationship, because she sounds like she's not somebody who's open to it. I love the example that Lani brought in when she spoke about her past experiences doing something just to please her man and it just didn't work. And I feel like everybody made really great points. Like, if you feel like you need to do this to make your partner happy, what about your happiness? Like, clearly this is not something that's you. Like, you're just not freaky deaky like that. So why are you gonna try and do something that's gonna make you unhappy? And then they were talking about whether it's somebody that is much better looking than you. Things like that needs to be addressed. Like, how would you feel if they brought in somebody who is better looking than you? What kind of impact would that have on the relationship, and all sorts? I would have wished that the men would have led this conversation, because it really would have made us understand where men stand. I think Monty tried to lure the conversation that way when she brought the point of men are natural predators. I think this is a well-known statement, fact or non-fact or whatever, but it's well known, like, men are natural predators. And I think it would have been great for the guys to take that point and elaborate and just kind of gear the conversation for us to understand a male's perspective on that. Because I feel like on the men's side, there's different type of men. So, you know, we've got the gades who are confident. He's like, listen, you don't know about my meat, you get me? Who wouldn't feel any type of way about it, and who also believe that it should be both ways, because the conversation got a little bit one-sided in terms of it's okay for a female to be brought into the equation, but if another guy was introduced, then it would be a problem. Like, why? What's the double standard? Like, we need to stop with the double standard. So I think I tried to bring in that point a little bit as well, but I don't think the points got really explored that much. Like, I don't know if some of them were a bit shy to, like, you know, really go in, which I completely understand. And then also you've got Jesse, who seems quite mature. Like, it would have been nice to hear from his side, and all of the guys, to be honest, like, all of the guys. It was just kind of like, no, I wouldn't do it. Like, I'm not that kind of guy. Like, even though they kind of played a little bit of devil's advocate, like NK did a little bit as well, I feel like the girls are trying to understand something that would be hard for us to understand as female, because it's the way men think, and we won't really truly be able to understand the way men think, even though we kind of get an idea. And I think Monty kind of played the middleman. You know, she was serving female's perspective and male perspective at the same time, and trying to be logical rather than just the typical emotional response a female would give. I wish that Manice spoke a bit more as well, if I pronounce her name right. Again, this is somebody who this was suggested to her, and then she said, well, I'm single now, so you can kind of gather. Like, I wish that she kind of elaborated more on, like, how the conversation went and what kind of things was suggested. Then it would have given us a little bit more of an idea. Now, I do understand that these are very personal stories, and they may choose not to share those type of stories, especially for those who've experienced it firsthand. But, you know, that's just like a general opinion. Like, it would have been nice to hear more. And also, there was talking about spicing up a relationship, and I think it was Shelby that mentioned that there were different ways. There's so many ways that you can spice up a relationship. I personally believe in teaching one another what you want and what you desire in the bedroom. Like, if that's your long life partner, have you even tried to be like, oh babe, I like it when you do this, or why don't you try do this, why don't we try doing that? Not bringing in somebody else because you are not satisfied. Like, if you are never really sexually satisfied, or even satisfied in life, I think that's a deep rooted issue that you need to look into. Like, why are you never fully satisfied? What is it that you are lacking? What is it that you are missing? Because yes, sometimes people can detach their emotions from sex. That's why there's such a thing as sex therapy. Sex therapy is not just for people who, for example, find it difficult to be free in the room, in the bedroom, or whatnot. It's for a number of reasons. You know, even people that are addicted to sex, like, there's even issues. So the fact that you don't feel like you would ever be satisfied with one person in the bedroom, like, to me, if I met somebody and they suggested that to me, like, I would be very alarmed. I don't know if you guys watched I don't know if you guys watched Couples Retreat. I think it's Michael and Radha. He basically likes to bring in people from the outside, and this is something that they discussed in the beginning. This is something that they had an agreement, but this is something that is happening all the time, and she's got an issue with it. You know, she was like, yes, I'll do it. In the beginning she agreed to it, but then eventually she realized that, you know what, this is not something that I want to do. And obviously he said to her, listen, I told you, you knew, so why did you agree to it, like, if you really didn't want to do it? And that's a problem. Like, if you know that that's not your thing, like, don't agree to something, because then later on it's gonna have an impact. You're gonna be impacted the most. And I think it was J Square that said it, when he said that can be really detrimental to the relationship, to the person. And that's true. Like, it really can. Long term, it really can. Short term, oh yeah, you're having fun, people are coming into the bedroom, and okay, there's the argument of traditional relationships and modern relationships or whatever. You know, the bedroom is supposed to be somewhere that is sacred, somewhere that is just between you and your partner, somebody that you've made covenant with. Okay, cool, yeah, I'm being old school, it's not like that anymore. Still, like, there's a reason to why it was intended to be like that. Like, for you to now bring somebody into the equation, are you really going to tell me that your relationship is going to survive without any issues in a relationship? Like, some people, they do it. I think Will Smith and Jada do it. So many couples do it. And maybe some people might argue that the reason why they are lasting long is because they have that freedom within their relationship. But can you really sit there and tell me that they still have that attachment with one another? You will have the attachment because you've been with somebody for so long that you are literally so tied to that person. Apart from the whole jealousy thing, but like, I feel like it will be too risky to bring people into the relationship. You will start sowing so many seeds in your relationship that you wouldn't even realize the damage it's causing, because it will be so deeply rooted. Eventually there will be resentment, there will be obviously jealousy, eventually there will be a level of detachment. You know, you're seeing your partner with somebody else, doing things to them that they've not done to you. And the point that Monty made, like, okay, well, if that's the first time he's doing that and he's not doing that to me, then he's gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna do it. But at the same time, you've got to deep it. There's a reason why he's not done that with you, and that other female has like naturally propelled him, has naturally caused him, melted him so much that he's like, rah boy, I'm gonna go in. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been good for the guys to come in and speak, because only you know what goes on in a man's mind to know why he would do some things to one woman and not you. It's all well and good for you to be like, yeah, so like, he'll do it to me then. It's like, yeah, but he's not naturally done it. Like, he might do it because he feels pressured to do it, but that woman naturally made him be like, right, I want to make sure that I pleasure you, like I please you to the max. Do you get what I mean? He never had that thought with you, babe. Like, deep that. He never had that thought with you, and that is a problem. I'm not going to sit there, go back and forth with a guy who we might even have spoken about it and he still ain't done it, and then because of this one time I'm going to now speak about it, and then he does it because I'm kind of forcing him to do it. I'm not going to do that. The thing is, it's like, I believe there's 100,000%. When a man wants you, there's nothing that will stop him from doing anything and everything for you. The fact that you having to have conversations with him, the fact that you're having to make him do certain things, to me, that's like red flag. Like, to me, it's like, well, there's clearly something that's not right. I probably said some things that you may not agree with, and maybe there's some things that I will think about again and I'll be like, actually, because I just don't feel like there is a right or wrong answer, because every relationship is different and it depends on the kind of partner that you have. don't be with somebody who's not on the same level as you. And also, like, I really do believe that there's a freak in every girl. Like, I 100% believe that, and I just feel like it takes the right guy to bring out the freak in them. So when Jay Edwards was talking about, you know, if you can't do backflip, this and that, or like if you can't be a stripper in the bedroom, it's like, it's not like she can't, but maybe you're doing something that's not enabling her to completely be free, because the right guy will definitely bring out that freak in her, depending on how comfortable you make her feel, and depending on, you know, how you are with her. It's like, I feel like in every guy there is really that soft, gentle, caring guy, and it just takes the right woman to bring that out of him, where he just wants to treat you, he wants to look after you. Women have that nurturing nature, and men have that daddy kind of nature in them, and that's why a lot of men like to be called daddy, you know. They like to be called daddy. Because it's naturally in there. So I don't know, like, I feel like it was really good, like it was really interesting. It was really good to hear everybody's points nice and clear. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye bye. And I'll speak to you guys in my next video.